Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a routine that no longer serves you? Like there's more inside you yearning to be unleashed, but fear, comfort, or uncertainty keep holding you back? What if the key to unlocking your greatest potential isn't about waiting for the perfect moment or feeling completely ready, but about daring to step into the unknown? The truth is, your growth, your breakthroughs, and your most fulfilling life are waiting just beyond the edge of your comfort zone. Are you willing to take that leap today? The hidden threat to your true potential. There is an unseen danger to your growth that doesn't announce itself with warning signals. It doesn't knock on your door or shout for attention. Instead, it quietly resides in the background of your life, cloaked in familiar routines that feel safe and comfortable. Surrounded by predictable choices that rarely change, fed by conversations that never challenge you, it offers a false sense of security. In return, it provides feelings of stability, control, and the illusion that everything is okay. This silent danger is your comfort zone. The illusion of safety. At first glance, it appears harmless, an oasis of rest, peace, and familiarity. It seems like a refuge where rejection is absent, where you are never exposed, and where everything is manageable and predictable. However, beneath this illusion of safety, there is a slow erosion of your potential. You were not created solely for safety. You were designed for growth. The realms of comfort and progress do not coexist. Your comfort zone is the place where dreams go to die, not because they are impossible, but because they are left unpursued. It's where courage diminishes, not due to weakness, but because you convince yourself there's no reason to be brave. It's the space where mediocrity is mistaken for nobility, where staying small is quietly applauded. The cost of staying comfortable. Within this zone, the pain of unrealized potential is buried beneath phrases like, "I'm just being realistic." Remember, potential is not a guarantee. It's a responsibility, an ability that demands action. It craves disruption, resistance, and testing. Growth requires friction and challenges. It needs to be pushed beyond comfort. When you choose safety, you deny yourself the pressure necessary for development. You avoid risks that could refine your character, resist resistance that could unveil your strength, and in doing so, you may start to question why life feels stagnant, why you're exhausted despite doing little that's difficult, or why you feel restless even when everything appears fine. Comfort is not peace, it's paralysis. The truth is, comfort isn't peace, it's paralysis. It deceives you into thinking you're winning because you're not losing. It sells a life of safety in exchange for a life of significance. Gradually, silently, it diminishes your edge, your discipline, and your hunger for more. It makes excuses seem like wisdom, hesitation appear like patience, and quitting look like self-care. Meanwhile, a quiet voice inside still recognizes your true potential, an inner fire that knows you are capable of more. There is a restlessness that refuses to be silenced by routines, a vision that refuses to stay buried just because you're afraid of what might happen if you try. The choice to embrace challenge. You have the option to ignore that voice, to choose ease over excellence, and to surround yourself with comfort instead of challenge. But don't be surprised if your life remains unchanged. Comfort zones don't just hold you back, they shrink you over time. The longer you stay in them, the more difficult it becomes to leave. Settling in one place makes it easier to justify mediocrity. The more you prioritize safety, the less tolerance you develop for risk, exposure, and growth. Eventually, you may look around and realize you've spent years protecting a version of yourself that has not evolved. Living with purpose beyond comfort. Purpose doesn't dwell in comfort. It exists at the edge of your current capacity, at the point where growth happens. It thrives in the stretch, in the challenge, in moments where you feel out of your depth, uncertain, and uncomfortable, yet still moving forward. Until you confront that part of yourself that shrinks from tension, you will never unlock your highest potential. Comfort is seductive. It rewards you with ease and invites you to stay where things feel manageable. It's tempting because it minimizes risk, soothes anxiety, and preserves your ego. But in doing so, it delays your growth and prevents you from discovering the best version of yourself. The role of resistance in growth. Growth requires resistance. Your muscles strengthen when pushed beyond their limits. Your mind sharpens through discomfort. Your courage rises when you face situations that evoke fear. If you keep building your life around what's easy, you rob yourself of the challenges that reveal your true capacity. Comfort whispers that there's plenty of time, that you can wait for the perfect moment, but that's a lie. Time doesn't pause for your fears. It keeps moving forward. Every day spent hesitating is a day you could have been advancing. Every moment of delay is an opportunity someone else is seizing. The consequences of staying still. If you linger long enough in your comfort zone, you'll become skilled at justifying your stagnation. You might tell yourself, "This is just who I am," or "Maybe it's not meant to be," or "I'm doing the best I can." But deep down, you know the truth. You feel it in quiet moments, the tension, the inner pull, that life is smaller than what you were meant for. You sense that a more fulfilled, purposeful life exists beyond the barriers of comfort, waiting for you to step into it. That inner tension isn't something to ignore. It's something to respect. It's not shame or pressure. It's your potential calling you from sleep, urging you out of routine. It beckons you toward the unfamiliar, the uncertain, and the uncomfortable, but also toward necessary growth. This is where you meet your edge, and it's at that boundary where the next chapter of your life begins. The false promises of comfort. Your comfort zone will always present excuses. It will remind you of the risks, emphasize everything that could go wrong, and whisper stories of past failures, rejections, and reasons to stay safe. But that voice isn't truth. It's self-preservation, your old identity trying to survive. The moment you step beyond that zone, into discomfort, your old self begins to fade. That's exactly what needs to happen. You don't grow by clinging to what's familiar. You don't become stronger by staying soft. You don't develop courage by avoiding fear. True growth occurs outside the comfort zone, through tough conversations, late nights, early mornings, lonely seasons, moments when you want to quit but choose to persist. It's in the times when nothing makes sense, but you keep showing up anyway. The willingness to pursue meaning. Purposeful individuals aren't necessarily more talented, they're more willing. They're willing to be misunderstood, willing to fail, willing to leave comfort behind to pursue their calling. They don't require everything to be easy. They only need it to be meaningful. They don't worship comfort, they honor growth. Because of this, their lives look different, more aligned and more impactful. Living with purpose and peace. You don't have to sacrifice peace to leave your comfort zone. True peace isn't found in playing it safe. It comes from living in alignment, being stretched, feeling the ache of growth, and trusting that this process is transforming something within you that safety never could. Your purpose isn't hidden in ease. It's revealed through what challenges you, what costs you, and what pushes you forward. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding right now because it's uncomfortable? Which decisions have I been postponing? What conversations am I afraid to have? What habits have I promised to change but haven't yet? These are your edges, your barriers of comfort. On the other side of them lies everything you've been waiting for, not handed to you, but waiting to be claimed. Embracing discomfort for growth. You are not made to stay within walls. You are meant to expand, take risks, and grow. Moving into uncertainty with faith is part of your purpose. The future you desire doesn't reside where you are now. It lives in the unknown, in the stretch, in the friction, in the decision to stop protecting a life that fits and start building a life that fulfills. This isn't a one-time choice. It's a daily commitment. The more consistently you choose growth, the less influence your comfort zone has over you. Facing fear and building resilience. Fear thrives in comfort. simmering, not screaming. It whispers that remaining still is wise, that risking is reckless, and that desiring more is selfish or unrealistic. Without awareness, you might start to believe that voice, mistaking caution for wisdom. But fear diminishes only when you face it repeatedly, not perfectly, but persistently. Fear doesn't vanish before you act. It dissolves as you move through it. Your comfort zone is its hiding place, becoming part of your routine, shaping your choices, and keeping your life small and predictable. Clarity beyond comfort. Contrary to the common belief that chaos is the opposite of comfort, true opposition is clarity. When you step outside your comfort zone, things begin to make sense in ways they never did while stuck in routine. You rediscover your heartbeat, feel alive again, and stop merely going through the motions. Outside that zone, paying attention becomes necessary, attention that sparks purpose. Growth naturally involves resistance because you're moving against everything that has kept you the same. It's rewiring decades of habits, beliefs, fears, and behaviors, doing something your past never prepared you for. Your body will feel it. Your mind will push back. Your environment might not understand. But that's not failure. That's progress. That's the essence of transformation. When it starts to surface, you're on the right track. Becoming someone new. If you want to achieve something you've never done, you must become someone you've never been. That transformation is inherently uncomfortable. It means letting go of who you were, even if you felt proud of that version. Because purpose demands evolution. Evolution isn't always gentle. Sometimes, it feels like being torn apart. But that's only because something deeper is being rebuilt. Building strength in discomfort. Waiting for discomfort to disappear isn't the answer. Instead, you build your strength within it. Clarity is formed in the questions you ask. Momentum is gained in the moments when nothing seems certain. The decision to keep moving, regardless of the doubts, is what leads to growth. Discomfort is where resilience is forged, and that's where true progress begins. The power of choice. Growth, transformation, and purpose happen through daily choices. The more you choose to embrace discomfort, the less control your comfort zone has over your life. Fear may whisper that staying still is smart, that risk is reckless, and that wanting more is selfish. But the truth is, facing that fear repeatedly is what weakens its hold. Each step forward dissolves doubt and strengthens your resolve. Inside your comfort zone, fear can hide and flourish, becoming part of your routine, shaping your decisions, and keeping your life small. But real clarity and purpose emerge when you dare to step beyond that boundary. Growth isn't easy, but it's necessary. It's in the friction, the uncertainty, and the discomfort where transformation begins and a life of fulfillment awaits. The journey forward is continuous. Every step, every risk, every decision to move anyway builds your strength, shapes your purpose, and reveals who you are truly meant to become. Growth often comes with resistance, emotional, mental, and sometimes physical. Your body will attempt to keep you within familiar patterns. Your mind will replay tapes of every reason to play it safe. Others may reflect your hesitation, influenced by their own fears of change. But none of this means you're doing it wrong. It simply indicates that you're leaving your comfort zone, and your comfort zone is aware of it. Comfort is part of your identity. Comfort isn't just a physical or environmental state. It's part of your identity. It manifests in how you talk about yourself. I'm just not that kind of person. That's not really my thing. Or, I've never been good at that. These are not facts. They are habits of thought, speech, and identity. If you want to grow, you must stop telling stories of who you used to be and start embodying the story of who you are becoming. Your comfort zone will urge you to stay predictable and consistent. But consistency without growth is merely repetition, stagnation dressed up as discipline. It may seem disciplined, but it's actually fear in disguise. Showing up the same way, doing the same things, And expecting different results is a sign of holding on to comfort rather than pursuing progress. Deep down, you know when it's time for change. You don't need to take giant leaps overnight. Small, deliberate actions, one decision, one boundary, one honest conversation, one early morning, or one risk, can remind you that you're alive and evolving. These small acts of courage keep you connected to your purpose and mark your transition from merely surviving to truly becoming. Comfort is a mindset. Remember, your comfort zone isn't just a physical place, it's a mindset. It favors familiarity over progress, stability over strength, and convenience over calling. It creates a mental framework where anything uncertain feels threatening, anything different feels dangerous, and anything that might stretch you becomes something to avoid. Without challenging this mindset, you risk shrinking yourself to fit your fears. The danger of comfort is that it often masquerades as wisdom. Phrases like, "Be realistic, don't bite off more than you can chew," or "Stay in your lane," can sound prudent, but often they are rooted in fear. What is labeled as wisdom is frequently a belief system wrapped in safety, a mindset handed down from those who stopped believing in their own growth long ago. Be careful who you listen to. When you're pursuing growth, be mindful of who speaks into your life. If surrounded by people more committed to your comfort than your calling, you may receive advice that keeps you small. They might encourage you to slow down when it's time to move forward or remind you of your past obstacles instead of your future potential. Their words aren't malicious. They're often rooted in their own fear of change and stagnation. Distinguishing danger from resistance. Most fears are internal resistance, not real danger. The conversations, leaps, and decisions that scare you won't destroy you. They will shape and free you. If something breaks in the process, maybe that's necessary. Sometimes, something must be broken for something stronger to be born. Awareness is key. You must recognize when your patterns are protecting you versus when they are limiting you. Notice when you're avoiding something not because it's wrong, but because it's new. Your stories shape your reality. Catch the stories you tell yourself before they become the foundation of your entire life. The stories you repeat become the stories you live. If you want to change your life, you need to be aware of the narratives that hold you back and be intentional about rewriting them. Stories are incredibly powerful, especially those that live inside your comfort zone. You might tell yourself, "It's too late, I missed my chance, that's not for people like me." Or, "What if I fail again?" But what if these are just stories, narratives rooted in fear? What if you've been building your life around these stories for years? The real question isn't, "Can I grow?" but, "Am I willing to rewrite my narrative?" Rewriting your story means changing the rules that have constrained you. Rules like, don't risk, don't speak up, don't stand out, don't want too much, or don't dream too big. These rules were written by fear and reinforced by repetition. But you hold the power to create a new framework, one that says, "I can stretch, I can change, I can build something meaningful, even if it scares me." Growth expands your capacity. The most remarkable part of growth is that once you begin to stretch yourself, your capacity increases. What once felt impossible becomes normal. What once terrified you becomes second nature. Your range expands, your confidence grows, and your energy shifts. You start to carry yourself like someone who no longer fits into the box they called home. That's how you know you're doing the real work. Not when things are easy, but when everything is shifting. When you're tired from growth, stretched by choosing better, and uncomfortable because you're evolving, that's a sign you're leaving your comfort zone. Comfort as a false sanctuary. Your comfort zone can feel so familiar that it begins to seem like your natural state. But it's actually where you go to survive, not thrive. It's where low energy, shallow conversations, and work that doesn't challenge or excite you become normal. Over time, that familiarity rewires your expectations, conditioning you to stop asking for more or believing that a life that lights you up is possible. Gradually, you go numb, settle, and bury your potential until years have passed and you barely recognize the person you used to be. That version of you, the bold, curious, and hopeful one, is still there. Beneath routines that no longer serve you, roles taken out of obligation, and responsibilities that crowd out your dreams, your true self remains. If you quiet yourself enough, step back, and listen, you'll hear that voice again. You'll feel the pull, the ache, the whisper that says, "It doesn't have to stay like this." That's your signal, your invitation, to begin again. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. Begin by challenging routines you've outgrown. Ask yourself, what part of my life have I made too small? What risk am I avoiding that could make me feel alive again? What would I do if fear of losing certainty weren't holding me back? Remember, predictable doesn't mean powerful. Familiarity doesn't guarantee fulfillment. It's time to break your patterns, interrupt your momentum, and declare, "No more sleepwalking through my life." People may tell you that you're doing fine or that you should be grateful for where you are. And you can be grateful. You can honor your journey so far. But growth isn't rejection of your current state, it's evolution. It requires shedding what no longer serves you. Your comfort zone will try to keep you there, reminding you of what you could lose. But it will never remind you of what you might gain. It's your job to keep that vision clear, to stay connected to the future calling you, and to let that vision drown out the voice of fear. You don't need a detailed map or every answer before you begin. You only need the courage to take the next step, just 1 inch beyond what's familiar. A small risk, a simple act of bravery, signals to your brain, "We're growing now." It's through action, not theory, that you reclaim your edge and remember who you truly are. Because true growth happens through doing, not just knowing. Growth comes from action and disruption. You grow through experience, by doing things you don't feel ready for, stepping into rooms where you don't have all the answers, and saying yes to what frightens you a little. That's where the edge is, where real growth lives. It's where you begin to feel truly alive again. Your comfort zone isn't powerful because it's strong. It's powerful because it's subtle. It doesn't threaten you. It lulls you into playing small because small feels manageable. It promises you won't fail but forgets to mention that you also won't grow. It shields you from rejection, but also from revelation. Your greatest breakthroughs happen just beyond the boundaries you haven't crossed yet. Breaking the agreement with safety. Every level of courage, confidence, and clarity is blocked by an agreement you've made, perhaps unconsciously, to stay safe. But that's a choice. To grow, you must get bold about disruption, disrupting your patterns, habits, timelines, and assumptions. You need to get intentionally uncomfortable, not for discomfort's sake, but because discomfort is the gateway to transformation. Discomfort isn't the goal, it's the entry point. Through it, you develop resilience, resistance, vision, vulnerability, strength, and stretch. None of these qualities thrive where it's always easy. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. Just move, shift, stretch, and confront what's no longer serving you. Small, intentional actions are enough to break the spell of stagnation. The power of intentional action. When you create pressure instead of avoiding it, real change begins, not in theory, but in real time. Each decision, each stretch, each choice for growth over guilt, purpose over passivity, expands your capacity. You are still writing your story with every brave step, every decision to grow, and every moment you choose purpose over comfort. Moving with fear, not without it. You don't have to be fearless to grow. You just have to move with fear. Resistance isn't something to eliminate. It's something to build strength against. You become who you're meant to be by showing up when it's hard, not when it's easy. Over time, discomfort shifts from feeling threatening to feeling familiar, then like home. Your nervous system can be trained. Your mind can be rewired. You can build tolerance for challenge and normalize the edge. Learning to breathe in places that once caused panic is how you change your baseline and reclaim parts of yourself that comfort once buried. Choosing growth over delay. Growth is a daily decision, one repeated again and again. It's about doing what makes you feel alive, having the hard conversations, standing when knees shake, saying yes to what pushes you. It's not about waiting until conditions are perfect. Readiness is built through action. Courage appears after the leap, not before. The comfort zone will always whisper that you don't need to risk, that staying safe is wise, and that playing small is secure. But that's a lie. Over time, that lie erodes your well-being. You feel it in your body and mind, and your days blur into sameness. That's stagnation, not peace. You are not born to settle for just okay. There is more creativity, leadership, impact, and joy inside you. But you won't find it where you're most comfortable, because comfort is the enemy of becoming. It's designed to protect a version of yourself that you outgrew years ago. Honoring your past, embracing your future. You can love what got you here while still knowing it's time to move forward. Outgrowing your comfort zone doesn't mean rejection. It means evolution. Your calling is in what's next, not in what's familiar. That next version of you is waiting to be built, not discovered. Every time you choose discomfort over delay, speak when nervous, stand up trembling, or say yes despite fear, you're building who you're meant to be. Success isn't about being fearless. It's about being resilient in the face of fear. That's what makes your life powerful, unforgettable, and meaningful. Your life was never meant to be small. It's meant to stretch, evolve, and surprise you. But you'll never see that version of yourself if you cling to what you've already mastered. Be grateful for your journey so far, but keep moving forward. The choice is yours. The comfort zone will always tempt you to rest. But rest should recharge you, not keep you from becoming who you're meant to be. Take a breath. Take a step. Begin again. And remember, the life you want isn't in what you already know. It's in what you're still willing to become. Remember, growth begins where comfort ends. Are you ready to build the life you've always imagined, one brave step at a time? The future you desire is waiting. Are you willing to take the first step today?